gospel of our Lord. On the first Sunday in Lent, we always hear that story. We always hear the story of Jesus being led into the wilderness. Though Mark says he was thrown out into the wilderness by the Holy Spirit in order to be tempted by Satan. It's a powerful story. It's a good story. Jesus fasts for 40 days and 40 nights. That's right there. You know we're into some crazy territory. This is a test of endurance. This is a test of will, a test of strength, a test of character. I mean, good grief, you and I would struggle if we fasted 2 days and 2 nights. Jesus, 40 days and 40 nights with no food. How hard would that be? But he does it. It's a trial. He overcomes it. But in the midst of those 40 days and 40 nights, he is confronted by Satan. He's out there, in fact, to meet Satan. He's out there because Satan is waiting for him. Satan confronts him in his time of weakness. In his time of struggle and trial. He's at his lowest point. He's been without food longer than anyone should go. And in that time, in those moments, Satan is there. Satan seeks to tempt Jesus. If you are the Son of God, if you are who you say you are, turn stones into bread. You know you're hungry. You know you want to do it. You know you can do it. Go on. Well, no. Who'll care? Just between you and me. If you are the Son of God, let's put that to the test. Test your relationship with God. Throw yourself off the top of the temple, because you know what? It says right in the book of Psalms that God will catch you. God won't let you fall to the ground. It says so in the Bible. Guess what? Satan can quote the Bible too. You know what Satan says? I got an offer for you. You bow down and worship me, and I will give you all the power in the world. I will give you the power of every kingdom, every nation. It'll all be yours. I can do that if you just pay the price. Kind of begs the question, can Satan really do that? Could Satan really give you power over all the nations on earth? I don't know. Maybe it's a false promise. Then again, which kingdom would be better, Satan's or God's? By the end of Matthew, Jesus is going to be declared the ruler of God's kingdom. Why would he give that up to rule Satan's kingdom? Jesus resists everything that Satan throws at him. He overcomes it all. He bids Satan, get out of my way. Get out of here. Go away. And Satan does, for the time being. He'll be back. It's a genuinely great story. I love it. Got everything you want in a good story. Got drama, tension, conflict, resolution. It's perfect. You know what else it makes for? Is good art. Artists have had a field day depicting Jesus and Satan in the wilderness, and artists have tried to outdo each other in seeing how scary they could make Satan look. How monstrous they could make him appear. Thing is, I don't know how tempting a scary Satan would be. You know what would be more tempting? An attractive Satan. Beauty seduces much more easily, don't you think? Anyway, every time you read a story in the Gospels, there's a question we always should ask ourselves. Where am I? Where am I in this story? Where do I fit in? Where do I plug myself into this story? Is there some point in this story that we just heard this morning where I fit in? Okay. I mean, sure, I'm going to be tempted. Probably by Satan. But by lots of other things too. You put a whoopie pie in front of me, I'm tempted. Dark chocolate covered marshmallows? I got a box of them waiting for me, you know. In case you didn't know, I did not give up chocolate for Lent. But the question is, in the face of that, am I as strong as Jesus? Am I as faithful as Jesus? Spoiler alert, I'm not. But you know, the truth is that the temptation itself is not where I'm going to connect in this story, because the temptation story is about Jesus, not me. The temptation is about Jesus discovering who He is, affirming who He is, being challenged to understand who He is, to understand how He will fulfill His mission to proclaim the kingdom. He is being tested to prepare Himself to go about His ministry of ultimately defeating sin, death, and the devil. From the perspective of the temptation, the story exists to give us hope and confidence that Jesus is who He says He is. That Jesus really is indeed the beloved Son of God. And that through Him, we will become blessed. And we will also be called beloved children of God. So that's not where the story connects with me. Where it does connect with me, though, is location. Where the story takes place. The story takes place in the wilderness. The wilderness in Israel is a very bleak, desolate, and lifeless place. It's not a place you would willingly go. But it connects with me because I've been there. Not literally, I've never been to Israel, but I've been in the wilderness. I've been out in places like that. A lot. I have wandered in the wastelands of life. I have had times of struggle, and I have had times of testing. I have been alone. I have been hungry. I have been thirsty. Literally and figuratively. I have been there. I'm going to go out on a real short limb here and suggest you've been there too. I guess all of us have been there to one degree or another. Maybe I'm in the wilderness right now. Maybe y'all are in the wilderness right now. But that's where it connects with me. Wilderness. It's a familiar place. The final promise in the Gospel of Matthew, the final words that Jesus speaks to His disciples are a promise that He is with us always to the end of the age. And that's very comforting. To know that Jesus is with you. Jesus is with you. He will always be with you to the end of the age. But the story we read today tells me more than that. Not only is Jesus with me, Jesus has also gone before me. He's gone ahead of me. Whatever I am going through, He's already done that. He's already been there. Jesus has already been in the forsaken places of life. He has been in the wilderness places of life. He spent 40 days and 40 nights there once, and He was there other times too. You know, like on the cross. Is there a bleaker, more desolate place than that? Well, Jesus was there. He's faced difficult times. He's faced every difficult time you can imagine. He has faced the most difficult times. He's been where I've been. He's been where I am. Because the truth is, there is no place that is so desolate or so bleak or so forsaken, no place we can possibly end up, but that Jesus hasn't already been there too. Are you being tempted today? Am I being tempted today? Temptation takes on a lot of forms, you know. Well, Jesus was tempted too. And not just once, but throughout His ministry. This bout with Satan today, it's just the first time for Jesus, not the only time. He will be tempted again and again. So it's not new to him to face temptation over and over again. It's not news to him that you and I face temptation over and over again because Jesus has faced it all. The good news is he has overcome it all. Which means when we're down there, when we are in the wilderness, when we are being tempted, Jesus is there with us and we can have confidence, we have hope, we have certainty that since he came through it, so will we. So will we. It might be tough. It might be a huge challenge. Might not be the outcome we think we'd like either. But we'll come through it. We'll get out the other side. Not because we're so great, but because Jesus is that great. This story gives me hope. It helps me to put my trust in God. It helps me to put my trust in Jesus. Because Jesus has been there too. Wherever I am, whatever I am dealing with right now, and it's a lot, Jesus is with me. And Jesus has been there before. He's been there before, and now he's there with me. Even death. Jesus has been there and done that. He came out the other side, and he's alive forevermore. So even there, even with death itself, wherever I go, Jesus is there. Jesus says to me in the face of death, I did that. Here I am. You'll be here too. We're still here, Jesus and me. Jesus and you, you're still there. In the wilderness, in the valley, in the sunshine, on the mountaintop, wherever you are, Jesus is there. Whatever you're facing, Jesus has already done it. He's been there before. So be strong. Have hope. Because Jesus knows. And Jesus cares. And Jesus is with you. And Jesus has already gone through it. Even the wilderness.